Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Running the Bases. This is a special edition of Running the Bases here, a breaking news show today, Friday, January 15th, as DJ Lemahieu has signed with the New York Yankees, a massive contract that he has signed today. And what a big deal that this has been. The Yankees and DJ Lemahieu have been apart for so long. They have re-signed him to a 6-year, $90 million contract. This is a massive move. Not the only bit of news that's been happening today. We've had a lot of things that have developed so far this morning, with the Yankees being in on Corey Kluber. The Mets have reportedly gotten close to a deal with Brad Hand. A lot of stuff is happening.
I'm going to cut you off there, Michael. Reports now say they are not close.
Yes, I know. Reports say that they're just in talks, but they're closer than they were yesterday. So teams are starting to finally make moves. It's arbitration day as well, so there's a lot that's going to be happening. We might even have some things happening on the show because we got 15 minutes to the end of arbitration. Might see some extensions taking place. So we'll see what happens. But right now, the big focus of this show is DJ Lemahieu, a 6-year contract. And Ryan, let's get your take on it, because right away, this is such a huge move. The Yankees finally getting their MVP caliber player that they've been looking for all offseason.
This is a freaking steal. $15 million for this guy? This is a steal. This is a guy who easily could have gone in the hundreds.
I agree.
Easily. Let's take a look at him just in his 2 years with the Yankees. Banged .336. Hit 36 home runs, 129 RBIs. Remember, we have to factor it in that this was a pandemic season. And he's hit 36 home runs and batted in 129. This guy is insane. He is one of the best hitters. He led the league in OPS with 1.011 this year. Led the league in on-base percentage with 421. Batting average at 364. He had 71 hits in 50 games. This guy in the past 2 years has had 2 top 5 finishes in the MVP race. He has become the staple of that team, because you can't rely on Judge and Stan because they're always hurt. There's no durability in those two. Luke Voigt came out and he was a star this year. Came out of the scene. Look at him now. He's a star, and he was huge for that team. But who has been that guy the past 2 years that the Yankees can rely on? DJ Lemahieu. And look at him now. Just got a big contract that I think is going to be a steal in the end. And the Yankees just set themselves up to stay competitive and fight for not just that division, even though that division got weaker with the Rays trading away Snell, but also in the playoffs. Because here's the thing with the AL right now. It's the White Sox. Who's going to match up with them? Astros are losing George Springer. The A's just lost Hendricks, and they're about to lose Simeon if they don't re-sign him. Who's there? It's the White Sox. That's it. That second spot in the AL Championship Series could be the Yankees. Yeah, they have things they got to address. They got to address their bullpen, and they got to get Masahiro Tanaka back. For sure. There's no doubt about that. But they have had to sign DJ Lemahieu, and look what they did. They got him back, and this is the best move that they could have made. I said when we first talked about our free agent predictions, I've said if I'm the Yankees, I'm giving that man a blank check for however long. 4 to 5 years at most, really, for me. If a man wants 6 years who has been that good, give it to him. Yeah. They did exactly what they had to do. And guess what? Got done.
This is so much bigger than just DJ Lemahieu to the Yankees as well, because the only team in that division right now that seems to be contending with the Yankees in terms of the aggressiveness that they've shown this offseason is the Blue Jays. And they have lost out pretty much on all of their guys that they're looking for. The Blue Jays haven't made any big signings yet this offseason. They have to get going. We've said it a couple times this offseason that some teams have been all talk, no game. That's what the Blue Jays have been. They have made all this talk. They've talked about Lemahieu. They've talked about Springer. They've talked about all these players, but they haven't actually pulled the trigger on them. They missed out on Lemahieu. they now have to focus on George Springer. That disappoints me as a Mets fan, but if the Blue Jays really want to contend with the Yankees, they have to get George Springer this offseason. And if they don't, I would genuinely say that this offseason for the Blue Jays is a bust because they have to go out and make something happen. You're going to see we said it the other day. We're starting to see the moves come in. They're starting to finally filter their way in. We heard that Corey Kluber might sign before the end of the weekend. We heard that Andrew Benintendi might be traded by the end of the weekend. All this started with the Padres and the Padres kicking off really the free agency market with their trades. And that's what was so great to see. We knew it at the time that was going to be the Kickstarter, but here we are. DJ LeMahieu, focusing just on LeMahieu itself. This is a big deal for LeMahieu. Like you said, this is an MVP player. He's been in the top in the MVP voting the last 2 years, and boy, can he hit. This settles really any question the Yankees had. The only thing they have to do now is either re-sign Tanaka or get another starting pitcher. They are really well set up. But in terms of the Blue Jays, what do you think is their approach there? And if you've got anything else, obviously.
Yeah, the first thing is I think the Yankees also need to add a couple bullpen arms. Their bullpen was really shaky last year, and I think if they can find two guys in the bullpen, and I think they could go out and try to get a guy like Alex Colomé. They could easily try to go out and get him because the White Sox might be moving on after signing Liam Hendricks. So there's a lot of moving pieces there, but also they got to get at Tanaka back at least. They have to. There's no doubt they have to, or at least sign another starting pitcher. That's what comes down to the rest of the offseason for the Yankees. DJ LeMahieu is also one of the most versatile players in the game. He can play anywhere on the infield, and that's key for them. Is he mainly going to play second base? Yeah, but they can move him around when need be, and I think that's huge for the Yankees and for what they want to do. For the Blue Jays, I'm under the impression that I think they need to get George Springer if they want to really be that contender. Do they have a great core? Yes. They have such a great core. They need that star. Do they have guys coming up as stars? Yes. They have stars coming up with Vladdy Guerrero and with all these guys with Kevin Biggio. Bo Bichette is nearly a star. But here's the thing. They need to get that star who's established. And they don't have that yet. And I think that's going to be the most frustrating part for them. So even though you look at the outfielders, they've got a lot of talent there. They've got Teoscar Hernandez and they've got Randall Grichuk. Those guys can play corner. That's where you've seen those guys is in corner spots. George Springer's the guy. George Springer is where you get your competitive edge. Is where you become contenders for that division and to make a run in the playoffs. And you saw they made a run at DJ LeMahieu. They offered him 4 years, 78. DJ wanted more and wanted more years. So this is their chance. They're showing they are willing to give out money and dish it out. Do it. Prove it again and dish out the money for George Springer. It's going to be more. You got to understand that. It's going to be more.
Oh, yeah.
But is it worth it? Heck yeah.
So now that's our first top 5 free agent to sign. LeMahieu was our number 4 free agent that we had listed here. We've still got Bauer, Realmuto, Springer, Tanaka, Ozuna, Brantley, Hand, Semien. I mean, the list goes on for how many free agents there are left on the market. And let's look quickly at this top 3. You've got Bauer, Realmuto, and Springer. Out of those 3, the only person we've heard any rumblings about this entire offseason has been Springer. I mean, we have heard nothing about JT Realmuto since November. We've heard barely anything about Bauer. I mean, where do they go from here? I mean, this could potentially be a good thing for them now that a big name is off the board. But what do you think the future is for those 3 guys with only a month left in the season? Off season, rather.
We knew this was going to happen with Trevor Bauer. He's not a guy who's very public about a lot of things besides his rants and his YouTube channel. This is something that he's got to think about very smartly and something that he has to understand. I think that he is weighing his options. There's going to be those contacts. There's going to be the rumors. It's the Mets. It's the Angels. It's the Reds. There's all these teams. He wants the largest AAV contract ever. Yeah. He's not going to get it. It's a pandemic season. Was he terrific? Yes. He had a lot of issues before that trade, though. I don't think he's going to get anywhere close to that. Could I see him get like a 6-year 150? Yeah. And there's a lot of justification for that. He's that good. But I don't think he's going to get anywhere near Garrett Cole. And for Trevor Bauer, I think he's in the middle of a pickle of, do I want to go back to the Reds where he has been so successful, reshaped his career, and had as much fun as he's had since college baseball?
Yeah.
Or does he really want to go for the most money and go to a team like the Angels who are desperate for pitching? As for Real Muto, people have to realize that the Phillies are waiting. The Phillies are not focused on Real Muto right now. They're focused on getting that bullpen. They just got Archie Bradley and Jose Alvarado. That bullpen looks better. It can't get any worse from last year. But you also have to realize that they still got to get another arm in that bullpen. And arguably, they might need to get another arm in that rotation. So they got to focus on those aspects first before they can know what type of money they can give Real Muto. Real Muto is coming off a poor year. Of course, we have the pandemic. So there's always that aspect. But also, this is arguably the best catcher in baseball here. Do you want to dish out that kind of money to him? Is the question. And if you look at it, he has never hit above 303. And that was in his third year in Miami. Since then, bad 278, 277, 275, and 266. 270s is not bad at all. That's about
but it's not as elite as he poises himself to be.
Oh, no. Does that make him worth $150 million? Heck no. If you want that kind of money, he's a terrific defender. Do not get me wrong. One of the best defensive catchers. You also have to back it up with your bat. And it's sad. In the MLB, your bat does the talking. You got to do it. You got to make up for it. And I think that's really hurting him at this juncture. As for Springer, we know. We know what we think. So I think Springer it's between two teams, as we've been told, what we've been hearing all around. But who knows?
I mean, it's such a strange offseason, and it reminds me a lot of a few years ago with Machado and Harper. That's really what I'm getting flashbacks of here, is this dragging out till right before spring training, and then boom, there goes Springer. Boom, there goes Real Muto, and then following will be Bauer. Because I think Springer will be first, obviously, based on how close he's been with a few teams. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Springer sign in the next week or two. But, I mean, there's just been so much talk about everything. And with the way Lemahieu signs, that's not as big of a contract as I personally think he's worth. And does that completely kill the value of some of the other players? I think it will, and that's something that'll go to be seen. So that's going to do it for our show today. I have class soon, so we gotta head out, but we are going to hopefully be doing more of these. I also have work this weekend, so if more breaking news things happen, we'll be covering them when we can. We'll have to wait and see whatever we can do, but thank you all for tuning on in today. We appreciate you for coming on out and watching. DJ Lemahieu re-signing with the Yankees. This is a big contract.
Complete.
Yes, it is. This is a major contract, and the Yankees really they got away with a lot here. They're gonna have a lot of flexibility going throughout the rest of this offseason. So thank you for tuning on in, and we will see you guys on